What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Ruckus Wrestling. As I am here with my tag team partner in this show, known as Justin Toner. Justin, how are we doing today?
Pretty good. Oh well, I joked before the show. I was like, last week I was like, I wonder what else we'll talk about besides the pay-per-view and kind of what's going on. A lot of stuff's happened in the last couple of days. Some good and some bad. So we got a lot to talk about. Rocking my American Dragon T-shirt tonight, even though poor Bryan Danielson is fortunately still out injured with the broken arm. We got Forbidden Door, so.
But I thought wrestling was fake.
I know. Go figure.
Yeah. But yeah, starting off diving into the topics. Kind of a start on a little more down take news. We lost a legend today.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Mr. One, the Funkster, Terry Funk, aka Chainsaw Charlie. You can touch on any other aliases that he went on throughout his illustrious career, but those are the ones that stick out to me. But yeah, just some sad news in the wrestling world. We lost a true good brother, as they would say in the business. And just Justin, kind of go over, what are your best memories as far as growing up watching Terry Funk, and some clips have been going around the internet. But yeah, just kind of some things that stuck out to you about Theo Funk.
It's funny. When I first started watching wrestling in the mid '80s, when Hulkamania was taken off, I was lucky enough to see Terry Funk for the first time when I started watching WWE at the time, because he was still with the WW as it was the WWF at the time. Him and his brother, and so I got to see him like right from the start. But it would be well before I would see him again, because it wasn't long after that he left WWE, and then he bounced around a lot of different places. Then he went back to NWA, WCW, and I'm glad I got to revisit that, thanks to he had an amazing feud with Ric Flair in '89. It's like '89 was an amazing year for Ric Flair, because he started the year with the trilogy with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and at the end of that trilogy, they kickstarted a feud with him and Terry Funk, and that feud was fantastic. For people out there, seek out the I Quit match from Clash of Champions between Ric Flair and Terry Funk. It's one of Flair. It's one of their best matches of both those guys' careers. It's like that's how you do an I Quit match. I'll just say it's like I was blown away when first time I saw that match. I thought it's an awesome match. So that's definitely one to go check out if you've never seen. You can probably find it on YouTube. It wasn't until he came back to WWE. Well, I kind of saw a little bit of his work in ECW, but I didn't get to see too much of ECW just because of it aired really late in syndication where I lived. So I only got to see like bits and pieces of ECW in the late '90s. A little bit more when they were on, was it TNN? I think it was for a while. I
forgot, UPN maybe. I don't remember exactly what station they were on.
So I didn't get to see like the first time him and Mick Foley worked together in ECW. I only got to see some of that later, but it was when he came in to team up with Mankind as Chainsaw Charlie, and they had that feud with New Age Outlaws, which was excellent. Mm-hmm. And you got to do some cool stuff during the Attitude Era, and got reintroduced to people. And then he also played a very important part in Mankind vs. Undertaker's infamous Hell in the Cell match, because Mick went to him for ideas, and Terry was the one who suggested that they start the match on top of the cage. So, so thank you, Funkster, for that one.
Right. No, basically what you kind of alluded to as far as like when I first, the Cactus Jack, I guess at the time, that was when he was doing the Faces of Foley. He was going from Dude Love to Mankind to Cactus Jack like every 3 seconds. It felt like, of course, that classic interview with him interviewing himself was really good. But that's not here. We're talking about Terry Funk. But yeah, that feud. I remember as a kid when they got shoved off in the dumpster. That like as a kid, that like scared the crap out of me.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my
scary,
gosh, you're like, and like JR sold the crap out of it, and like it was just I mean, people were going nuts, and I was just like, what the crap did I just watch? And you know, as you're a kid, it's like, oh, okay. And then as you get older, you realize the business side of it. But that feud is what really stuck out to me. And even like when he got first introduced, he like cut through like the box or something. I forget like when he debuted with or he went no, didn't he chainsaw through the ring at one point?
Yeah, I think so.
Through there, but I didn't realize it was Terry Funk because he had that thing over his head. But then he and then Beyond the Mat, I believe he was featured in that because when he was with ECW.
Yeah,
and that was like because him and Mick Foley stood out as far as just like I can't watch that I Quit match anymore. I just can't. It sucks. Yeah. I can't watch it. But and then his and then Terry Funk was showing there, and he was like coughing up blood after a match, and like that. And then of course Paul Heyman used it as a pep talk of like he's doing this for the crowd. You guys gotta like, and I was like, oh, okay. And so they looked at him as a locker room leader, and that's when I really kind of looked more into Terry Funk's career and realized how many people he influenced that are still like big time stars to this day, and just we lost like a true legend to the game.
And what's amazing about Terry Funk's career is that how long it was and how influential it was. He started wrestling in 1965, and I believe he finally stopped wrestling matches in 2017.
Right.
So.
Well, didn't he have like a weird match where he was like, it was the Terry Funk retirement match against Bret Hart or something like that? And then but that was like 20 years before he actually retired or something. I forget what it was, but like, because Bret was a Terry Funk got a Bret. I think that was right. You can double check me on that.
Yeah.
But there was a weird like, and that was like the only time Bret Hart faced another person because it was for Terry Funk.
So he wrestled on and off for 6 decades.
Yeah. That's nuts.
I mean, he had memorable matches and feuds with a lot of people. It's like, it's like the one with Flair, his relationship and stuff with Mick, because Mick, Terry was his idol, his mentor, and his friend. So he's taking it really hard. Eddie Kingston was heavily influenced by Terry Funk. He considers Terry Funk like the greatest of all time, and will not accept you picking anyone else apparently. So he's definitely probably taking this really hard as well. It's like he wrestled in all over the place, so many different places in NWA, WCW, WWF, Japan, New Japan, ECW, TNA. He was everywhere, and was able to find ways to reinvent himself. And it's like, especially with going the hardcore route in the 90s, it's like, it's like, I just saw a clip today I never saw before from several years ago where he was trying to pump up Dean Ambrose and he gave him like a pep talk and then gave him the chainsaw that he used as Chainsaw Charlie as a gift, and which I thought was really cool. Definitely I think that's he's definitely another influence on Moxley for sure, I would think.
Right. And of course there's infamous clip of like them throwing a bunch of chairs in the ring in ACW.
Yes,
that's the infamous one where I think he like looked out the crowd and goes, I need a chair, and then they all just threw chairs into the ring or something.
Yeah, that's a very iconic ECW moment. And not only was he amazing in the ring, but he also like other wrestlers went to Hollywood. He appeared in several movies here and there over the years. Probably the one he's probably visible is he's in Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in a couple other movies. Stallone's wrestling film Paradise Alley from the late 70s. A friend of mine, it was funny. A friend of mine a few weeks ago, we watched Sylvester Stallone 80s movie Over the Top, where he's doing the arm wrestling thing. Terry Funk is in that movie too. He plays a bodyguard for the main antagonist, played by oh god, Robert Loggia.
Okay.
He works for Robert Loggia as is like his muscle in the movie. Sadly, he does not arm wrestle Stallone in that. So it's simple sad.
The only thing I know about Over the Top is one time somebody was wanting to arm wrestle, and some guy literally like put his arm down and then turned his hat backwards slowly, and they were like, "Oh, he just got screwed."
He also guest starred on some TV shows like Quantum Leap and things like that, and so he dipped a little bit into the acting too, and yeah, it's like you might spot him in, here and there in some movies. But yeah, if you've never seen Roadhouse, check it out. It's like because he gets to throw down with Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse, so yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, for anybody, Roadhouse.
It's so bad it's good, man.
Yeah, they were getting ready to remake it with Ronda Rousey at one point. There was rumors.
I know. I was like, no,
don't mess with a classic.
Don't mess with the 80s classic.
Right. If you want to call it that, but it's one of those ones that you're like, want to watch Roadhouse? I'm like, yeah. But you don't not watch Roadhouse, but you know what it is. It's like this isn't a masterpiece or anything. But But yeah, R.I.P.
But rest in peace. Yep. Sad to lose another legend. He will be missed. His influence will be felt for quite a while. He'll probably still continue to influence people long after now that he's gone.
Yeah. So, moving on to the one shocking. I don't know if Terry Funk passed away. It's always shocking when someone loses their life. But kind of thing that we were going to lead into with that before the news came today is Cash Wheeler getting arrested on assault charges.
Oh boy!
Florida,
what a
with beating a dude with the butt of its gun or something like that. Kind of go into a little bit about because I know me and you kind of messaged back and forth what all has transpired, which it's still a bad situation, but it doesn't. The more it's come out, it doesn't look like it's going to keep him from being at all in. Long story short, but kind of just go over kind of what all transpired.
I'll summarize what is known so far because it's on the public record and everything. So what we know at this point is that word broke out on Friday because he was having a hearing related to this whole incident, which is how the news broke. Apparently back on July 27th, down in Florida, he was involved in some kind of road rage incident where he got into it with someone who was in another vehicle and apparently flashed a gun at them. So he's been charged with aggravated assault with a gun. Now, there's nothing that reports that he pointed the gun directly at this person or tried to shoot them, but more just it sounds more like he pulled it out as like, for threatening and intimidation, which is not good. So a arrest warrant was issued for him on the 28th. Through his attorney, he entered a plea of not guilty on August 3rd. The first hearing concerning this whole case occurred last Friday. The judge asked. Only thing the judge asked was that he hand over the gun and any other weapons in his possession at this time. He did not take his passport. Did not prevent him from leaving the country or traveling. So, because people were wondering, what does this mean? He's not going to be able to go to England for all in. Well, the fact that they haven't said otherwise obviously means that he's been cleared to travel. Because it's really tricky because I had to do some research and I was talking to a lot of people I saw online, a lot of people I know that like if you're convicted of a serious crime, it's like certain countries will not allow you to enter their country, and UK is one of them. So but if in a situation where this is like a pending thing, that it's pending a trial and hearing, the odds of you getting blocked, there's still a chance that they might not let you in, but the odds are you should be okay, unless something comes up. So apparently, because he's cleared to go. So the match is still the FTR versus the Young Bucks is still on for the pay-per-view at Wembley on Sunday. And then people really were wondering, like, okay, wait a minute. Him getting arrested for this happened just before FTR faced MJF and Adam Cole on Collision for the tag team titles. And so it became apparent, like, okay, wait a minute. Did Tony and AEW not know? And, how long have they known? And, things like that. It's like, or did he not tell them? It's like, so people were kind of like, had a lot of questions. Tony finally addressed them. He said, it's an ongoing situation. They should statement saying, they're keeping an eye on the situation, not taking any kind of, punishment measure at this point or anything. They're just going to wait and see what happens. In talking to the media, just the other day, Tony said that he only recently found out about the whole incident. So, apparently AEW, it took a bit for AEW to find out about this whole thing, which is not a good thing.
No.
So it's like, we don't know the whole story about that. It's like, it's all speculation at this point. So, Josh and I are big fans of FTR and Dax, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. So this whole news was very disappointing. Mm-hmm. It's like to hear that, he was involved in an incident like this. It's like he's innocent, proven guilty. So, and I'm passing judgment on him, but it's not a good look for him. Thankfully, he has no history of runs with the law, so that's probably going to help him out in this situation. But it's just a bad look for him and a really bad look for AEW, especially like that was right on the heels of the whole kerfluffle with CM Punk ripping into Hangman and Page after Collision went off the air. That of course went viral because fans record stuff. So between that and then that happening, not a good PR week for Tony Khan and AEW.
No, it's not a good look. Yeah, thanks for low hanging fruit. Good job.
Thanks.
I saw that. I was trying not to laugh.
Thanks, Giff.
Yeah. Hey, Brendan, thanks for joining. But yeah, it's just super disappointing. I mean, everything that you see about Cash and Dax, I mean, there's such like even online, everything like that. They seem like such straight, kind of eat your vitamins, say your prayers type of.
Especially Dax Harwood, it's like
yeah. So and to see this, I mean, they're wrestlers, so they're high in testosterone. We know that.
They helped. They're very close with Edge and his wife Beth Phoenix. Mm-hmm. They helped train Edge for his return to WWE back in 2020. So it's like, I mean, when it was at I think Rumble last year when Edge and Beth faced Miz and Maurice, that they took out they won the match with the Shatter Machine. So it's like they got permission to it's like, hey, can we use the guy's finisher? Yeah, sure, because we love you. So that was their way of shouting out to FTR.
Didn't they face Judgment Day like Dom and Rhea? I thought it was that. I forgot it. Yeah, who it was.
No, it was Miz and Maurice. Remember they had that feud with Miz and Maurice for a bit. The two of them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just know that they did the concerto to Beth and to make.
That was afterwards. That was after that.
Okay. Because I remember them doing their finisher in one of the matches. So it sometimes runs together. But yeah, it's
we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, it's hopefully it's like we'll see. I mean, like the quick question now is how much longer are FTR going to hold the tag titles with this whole legal situation?
That's pretty much what. As soon as that came out, it was like, well, they're dropping the belts. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll be shocked if they keep the belts against the Young Bucks on Sunday, because, like, if you're Tony Khan, you can't take the risk right now. I mean, it's like that's what you probably is what's most likely going to happen. I'll be shocked if they do. It's like so. Yeah, it's very disappointing. It's like hopefully it'll get sorted out. We'll see what happens, but
yeah, just gotta let the legal proceedings do its thing.
Yep.
The judicial system. But yeah, I mean, like you were alluding to earlier about, we were kind of discussing, what's kind of looking forward. Like I pointed out, the Usos somehow got into Canada. We were told that they couldn't get there because of the DUIs. So
yeah,
and they ended up showing up anyway. I think it was the Rumble, right? I think that was the one. I forget which pay-per-view it was that they.
it was for Elimination Chamber. It was Elimination
right.
Chamber in Montreal.
Yeah. Right, and Canada had, since you have a DUI, and they're just like, all right, well, you can't come here because you have a DUI in another place. And then they showed up. So I don't know how they got around that, but that's why I was like, even if unless once the US didn't take his passport, I don't think the UK EAW is going to find a way to get him there. Basically, is where I kind of came to that conclusion. Then it sounds like UK's not even going to have any pushback. We're going to get
if there was an issue, they would have already changed the card already.
Right.
It's like
so
they had to have made sure and checked with the UK government, probably through the US embassy, make sure that there wouldn't be any problem with him entering the country.
Right.
So.
But yes, as you alluded to a little bit earlier about him being friends with Edge, they might be coworkers. The way it's shaping up, kind of a little rumor, but a little scuttlebutt is really heating up. Today it was shown that Edge went to WWE and said, "Hey, I'm looking to still re-up with you guys, whatever the offer was," and they said no, which people starts to put in the narrative that maybe he got offered this from Tony Khan. He was looking into it, said, "Hey, can you match it?" And WWE said, I think they just said thanks, but no thanks. And we might see Edge in AEW, which sounds so weird to think about. A guy who literally was told to retire, gets into a bike accident with Sheamus, and then decides, hey, maybe give us another shot. Goes to AEW, as you alluded to in our previous conversations. Goes to AEW. Tony Khan approached him saying, "Hey, man, why don't you come back?" But since he's been with WWE, he was like, "I'm loyal to them," so they cleared him. He's had this run where he almost, was a spooky guy with Judgment Day until he said no on that. That was always kind of funny that all came about, because they're like, how did they break him up so quickly? I was like, because Edge didn't want to be spooky. Basically, it was long story short, and they just want to be super like Ministry of Darkness type stuff. And Edge,
he wanted it to. They wanted to go Ministry of Darkness route, and Edge was like, that's not what I had in mind for this heel stable. So they divorced him from the Judgment Day, and that led to a very lengthy feud.
Right.
Here.
But yeah, kind of just your thoughts. AEW Edge. I mean, Christian, it never shocked me because he already went to TNA, and we understood why he went to TNA at the time, because they weren't booking him well, and he deserved. And then he goes to TNA, shows that he could be a top guy. That was when TNA was at an all-time, like, it was must-watch TV.
His Christian Cage work when he was at with TNA / Impact was quite good. It's like he showed that he could be a main event guy. If given a chance. I really liked his work over there. It was one of the few times. Well, he was there. Was one of the few times I was into TNA because I'm a big Christian guy. He's been killing it. Still, his heel work right now is just top notch.
His heel work is awesome right now with the TNT Championship.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was when he decided to go to AEW. When he also was like, hey, you know what? I can go again. I'm cleared. It's like I'm medically cleared. I can wrestle again, just like Edge. Because he did the Rumble appearance 2 years ago. It was Rumble 2021. He made his comeback, and of course people thought he would. Of course WWE would want him back, but they didn't make him any kind of offered to come back to wrestle. He was definitely interested, but they weren't looking to have him come back, long term or part time or whatever. And so, that's when Tony Khan, swept in, and he's like, yeah, sure. And and he's been with AEW ever since, and he's been doing some really great stuff, honestly. So, and as you mentioned earlier. When Edge made his comeback to WWE in 2020, in interviews, he made it clear that Tony Khan tried to lure him to AEW for his comeback. It's like he had serious talk with Tony Khan, because Tony found out, that he looked like he might get cleared, and so he talked to him about coming to AEW. But Edge was like, I appreciate that, and it's like, but WWE made a good offer. WWE is his home, so it made sense for him to go back. Now that he's had a run, and he's made it clear that it's like he's ready to finally retire soon on his own terms, which is great, because being forced to retire because injury sucks, because it's like a wrestler always wants to hopefully choose when it's finally time to hang up, even though sometimes it's really hard for some people, as we've seen over the decades. It's not easy to hang him up. Some people find it easy, others not. But he's had he's done it all in WWE. It's like he's had an incredible career. He's a Hall of Famer. I think it's very possible that he might spend a little time in AEW. I mean, Christian's there.
It's pretty much the only reason I think that he would go. That's literally only as far as.
Oh yeah, exactly. Giff, him versus Christian, that's money. It's money. And besides, you have to know that the two of them, how close they are, they would want to wrestle each other one-on-one one more time before they're both done.
Yeah,
they want that.
And so. And if Tony Khan's given, because basically I think that's why because Tony's like, sure, because he basically has you can just keep fantasy booking Edge all you want to, because the dude can still go.
Oh, it's exactly, Chris. Like, just imagine some of the matchups, like Edge versus Kenny. It's like just
Edge versus Sting.
That they I don't think they've ever wrestled each other, but it's like, who knows how much longer Sting's going to be hanging out pretty soon. He's made it clear. It's like his time's finally almost up. It's amazing he's still going in his 60s. So we'll wait and see. I think it's very possible he might go to AEW. We're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this, because the word is that his contract officially expires in September in a few weeks.
Okay, so you go get all in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because like his match with Sheamus was like his last like contracted match.
Right.
So it's like outside of interviews or and stuff like that, they're not going to. He's not going to be doing anything else.
Okay.
For WWE.
I didn't know what his non-compete was or anything like that within his contract or anything. I don't even know if there is, because I just know that.
If his contract just expires, then there is no.
Okay. Kind of like the Aleister Black situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're letting his current contract expire, and so once it's like if it's just allowed to just lapse and expire, there's no non-compete. If you're released early from your contract, that's when a non-compete would go into effect normally. At least that's how I remember it, how it working. So yeah, if his contract is just if WWE is just letting his current contract just expire and they're not resigning him, then as soon as that contract is over with, he can choose to go work for somebody else right away.
Gotcha. Okay. So, but yeah, you can just fantasy book Edge all you want. I think that's the reason why you might go to, because Tony Khan's willing to pay him a lot of money for little work, and WWE realizes that, he really doesn't have probably much left, and for what he's asking for, it's not worth their return on investment compared to Tony Khan getting to have his little like wrestling wet dream in his head. And so. As far as jokes aside, it still would be cool as a wrestling fan to see him, go against some of these guys and see Edge and Christian one more time. That feud that they had like 15 years ago or whatever it was. I remember there was they switched up Christian's like theme music to be like Christian's better than Edge and all this like stuff like that. I remember that. That was like a broke up with his brother. Like it only did like for the pay-per-view. They never showed that song again, but it was just like hilarious.
Yeah, it was wild.
that was when it was like Christian was kind of goofy or whatnot. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see if he actually does, or whether or not this is just a bunch of smoke. Does it work?
He's finally ready to hang out for good.
We'll he could be too. All right. So any thing else you kind of want to touch on as far as news wise before we get into like the reviews of the show?
Let's see. The only thing I saw that apparently a new documentary about Kurt Angle called Angle is going to be premiering on Peacock soon. About his life and career. I didn't see a trailer yet. I just heard blurbs. I just heard word about it that it was coming to Peacock. So that's gonna be interesting. It sounds like this is not a WWE produced documentary. So it'll be very interesting to see what it is. I guess it maybe WWE has some involvement if it's airing on Peacock. So it's like it's hard to say. We'll find out. Very interested to see I'll be interested to check it out. I mean, Kurt Angle is amazing. Was a big fan of his back in the day. Amazing wrestler. He's definitely one of the he's an amazing wrestler that, it's like he could have even done more with his career if it wasn't for a lot of the personal demons and issues and his body breaking down and all the other stuff that he went through. It's like it's definitely going to be in the documentary because it's like he went through the ringer.
Yeah. I mean, they already had one about him with his perk problem, his drug addiction and stuff like that. And they went pretty detailed. They weren't holding anything back for that. So I'm interested to see kind of how they approach this when they kind of really touched on it exclusively. But I mean, anything about any type of wrestling doc, I'm going to be glued to it because they really do always. Other than
the Cody Rhodes one that was on Peacock was fantastic.
Yeah,
I thought was very honest. Especially about the frustrations that led him to leaving WWE in the first place and go back to the independent scene and rebuild himself and help him kickstart AEW. And I thought that was very well done, very honest. It's like I was already a big Cody fan, and I was like, it's like I really loved that. It was really good. So that'll be definitely something to check out. Yeah. Another wrestling related thing that will be coming to another streaming service to Netflix in September as well is a docuseries called Wrestlers about the Ohio Valley Wrestling independent promotion run and co-owned by the hardcore legend Al Snow. And I caught a trailer for it. Looks really interesting. It's definitely all about about how like these up and coming wrestlers are trying to make a name for themselves, learn the craft, dreaming about making it big. I mean, like in one of them, one of the female wrestlers made it clear her dream is to like be in WWE one day, which is a lot of up and coming wrestlers. It's like that's that's their goal. I mean, at this point, it's like if you want to make it big, it's like you got to get to either WWE or AEW if you want to make it big in the wrestling world. It's like so. And about trying to keep the thing running, financial issues and a lot of behind the scenes drama. Looks very interesting. I'm a big fan of Al Snow. I got to meet him at a convention here in Rochester a few years ago, and he talked about his work in OVW, and that's his passion right now. He loves what he's doing there. He loves teaching the next generation of wrestlers, helping them to develop so that they can succeed. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. And I know you are because it's like OVW is literally in your backyard where you are. So
yeah, and it is a warehouse somewhere. It literally it's a small little warehouse. But that's obviously, for those who don't know, OVW was what NXT is now to WWE. And then
it was the NXT before there was an NXT.
Yeah, they basically,
it was their development territory. Yep. I mean, John Cena, Batista, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, some of the greatest talents that WWE saw in the last 20 years got their start in OVW.
Yep, Randy Orton.
Back when he was run by Cornette. Cornette
yeah.
in OVW for a while.
Yeah. They have a pretty good documentary about the farm system and how it's grown up. And basically Cornette was on there saying, basically he's kind of was bored. And they were like, hey, why don't you just go down here and just do whatever you want? He was like, okay. So he just went down. He's like, all right. So I went and lived in Louisville for 6 years. And then ran and basically booked the shows because he had to do whatever.
The amount of Hall of Fame talent that came out of OVW in the early 2000s is insane.
Yeah, because it was Randy Orton. I mean, it's known as Randy Orton,
Batista, Cena, Brock Lesnar, Benjamin. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I remember Eugene was booked as some ladies' man badass, and then they packaged him as not so. You can't have that type of wrestler anymore. But I just remember, okay, I didn't. Oh, that's right. They did. TNA did use OVW as a farm system once WWE did the FCW stuff.
Yeah, I was looking up info about OVW earlier. And I saw that they were had a working relationship with a TNA for a while. I don't know if that's still the case, but but they're definitely
Bobby Lashley came through there too.
Yeah, they're not affiliated with WWE anymore. They are completely independent indie promotion. That a lot of people go to because of Al Snow and them a way to learn the craft and hone their skills and their character and everything like that, so they can try to climb the ladder up into the big leagues.
It'd be interesting to see just kind of what type of look they're going to give as far as a fully independent wrestling promotion compared to an AEW or a WWE or something like that, or even over. I'm interested to see if they ever if Netflix, if this goes well, if they go to maybe the UK with ICW or something like that, where they look into the independent scene in different countries and how that was something I've always been interested in. It's how wrestling is. You always hear about Canadian wrestling. Obviously, Japan's very much known. And then the UK, as far as those other foreign, other countries that they pluck talent from. I know they did NXT UK for a while. I think then they shut that down. But I'm just interested to see. That's something that I'm hoping Netflix can, if this does well, that they do that. Or they can still do NWA or something like that, which is fine. But I'd rather stick to more warehouse gutter independent wrestling promotions. The pole barns and gymnasiums productions and how
it's going to debut September 13th on Netflix. So Josh and I are going to be checking that out, and we're probably going to be talking about it on the show here for sure.
Yeah.
It's I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive into all things that happened the past week until now. Obviously, AEW, for those who joined, hopefully you have AEW on one screen and me and Justin on the other. Because it's on right now as they basically the go home shows of AEW, because All In is this weekend, I believe.
All In is on Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Start Time because of the time difference in the UK. So it's early afternoon and pay-per-view for us here on the East Coast. And if you're further west, you can eat your breakfast and watch this pay-per-view.
pretty much. But it's always cool. Always end up having some live streams go on. One day, me and Justin probably will do a live stream of wrestling shows. But we're just we're not going to put the cart in front of the horse. Take it one step at a time here. Growing the show, but that would be something that we're definitely looking to do in the future. But I have internet. His internet might be ahead of mine, so it's going to be kind of weird to do a live stream sometimes when the internet kind of goes all back and forth on that. That's nor here nor there. Let's move on to SmackDown of last week. So we kind of going through real quick. It was LA Knight versus Theory for US title. Miz screwed that up. And basically it was a celebration of Edge. Other things that did go on the show, but those are kind of the highlights so far, because the Bloodline just kind of was nothing. It was nothing.
Yeah, the Bloodline storyline was almost entirely absent from the show, which is very unusual. The only thing that kept it going was Heyman doing an interview about the events of the previous week. The majority of the show was about Edge. Basically, made it very clear that this is his run currently, and probably his time in WWE is coming to an end. I mean, 25 years on and off, that's a long time. And so, like, he had these video packages, messages from people, fellow wrestlers, and who he's worked with, who he's very close with. Everyone from Cena, Undertaker. It's like Randy Orton. People he had memorable feuds with, saying how awesome he is, and building to something that he'd never done before was take on his good friend Sheamus one-on-one, and of course they delivered a banger. They delivered a hell of a match. So that was great. I'll talk a little bit. The other big storyline of the night was the U.S. title scene, because it started with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar on Grayson Waller's talk show, and he's trying to stir the shit. Like that. Rey stole his title shot from Santos, trying to sow dissension in the LWO. And then Theory comes out wanting his rematch. And then, thank God, it's funny. I got excited because like LA Knight came out and I was like, yes, get him into the U.S. title seat. And then I was like, this is perfect. He's like, he can face Theory, he can beat Theory, and then he can face Rey Mysterio for a title shot. And I thought that was what was going to happen. And as soon as the Miz music hit, I was like, crap, he is not in this match.
No.
It's like it's wrestling basics 101. If a guy that you are currently having issues with decides to come out while you're having a match, odds are he's there only for one purpose: to screw you. And that's exactly what happened. Miz ensured that LA Knight did not win the match. He caused shenanigans that caused Theory to win the match, and so Theory is going to get a rematch with Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title. And it furthered the this burdening feud between LA Knight and The Miz that's crossing between the two shows, because LA Knight made sure to come to Raw, and he paid The Miz back in kind, and we'll get to that when we get to Raw. But I was just like, I was excited, and then it's like they had me, and then as soon as Miz's music hits, I went, crap.
Yeah. I was getting, because as soon as LA and I was like, yeah, he's finally in. They're finally putting him in the title picture. All that stuff is great. And I'm like, wait a minute. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I know the draft is the only thing the reason they had a draft is so they could put draft on. They could just have maybe just a bump in ratings, because obviously that went out the window in 2 seconds from the draft and everything. And then I think it's just another reason to get. I think they're making him and Miz feud is to have LA Knight on both shows, so that way because they know he's a ratings pop. So if they know they can get LA Knight on both shows, and that as this feud's ongoing, that they're going to be on both. At least LA Knight is going to be on both shows. Mm-hmm. It draws people to maybe watch them, because at some points in my life of watching wrestling, I might just watch a show just for a certain wrestler segment, and then I would turn it off because nothing else was enjoyable. So there might be those casuals out there that do that. So I think that's probably why they're booking him. I mean, obviously, the thing is, though, is like you would put him against The Miz because he's a good talker, but Miz hasn't won a match in like a decade. So it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, this is obviously it is another filler feud for LA Knight before they pull the big push trigger. And I think you're right. I think it's very obvious that they're having him appear on both shows because they know that's going to get the fans excited, because it's like people listen to that pop every time he shows up.
Mm-hmm.
It's very loud, is very clear. The fans are made it very clear that LA Knight is one of the most over baby faces in WWE right now.
Yeah,
his popularity is up there with on the level of Cody and Seth and Sami Zayn, as like that. Like the fans love him.
Yes,
and it's like, so WWE's taking advantage of it, and like, okay, it's like we're not ready to pull the trigger on the big push yet, but we don't want to piss off the fans by not giving him anything. So it's like they're giving him something to do, and him feuding with The Miz, like it makes sense for a filler feud, because it's like even though the Miz has been around for a long time, and yes, he doesn't win as often, very often matches or feuds very often. He's still a name. He's still credible, and he can still cut a damn good promo.
Mm-hmm.
Like their face-off they had on Monday Night Raw, that verbal exchange was excellent. It's some of the best promo work I've heard from the Miz in quite a while. It's like I know people like to like dump on the Miz, but seriously though, it's like when he, it's like if he's dialed in, he can cut one hell of a promo. I mean, so like it's like the passion was definitely there. So I'm fine with it. It's like it's like it allows the Miz to be on TV and draw heat, and it gives LA Knight something to do, and it's a credibility stepping stone until they're ready to give him the big push that everyone is waiting for. So it's better. It's better than. I'll take this over. I'm sorry, creative doesn't have anything to do, so just sit at home and enjoy your paycheck.
Yeah, he should. LA Knight should not be stuck in catering when he's like 4 of his merch is top 5 in sales.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's just
I mean between the fans and also the fact that selling merch is that they know what they have.
Yeah,
and so Triple H is he's playing the smart game for the time being until they're ready to pull the trigger on a full rocket push.
Yeah. So, and I just, it stings because you want it to happen, but I think that's part of it is that you want it to happen so bad, but you don't want to rush it. And then kind of like the Sami Zayn where they kind of booked themselves in a corner. He's still over, but they knew like they kind of just, it's just kind of like, well, they booked themselves a corner because he's not going to win and then he's going to lose some momentum. He kind of lost a little bit, but I mean, he's still awesome.
Yeah. And plus, I know people were worried that when Cody lost to Roman at WrestleMania that it would hurt him. No, he is still mega over. And it's like even the filler feud with Brock Lesnar didn't stop that. It's like it's like so it's like Cody is still mega over.
Yeah, it's the only problem with that is just the bloodline just kind of is where they're at, and it's just like that's the only thing because like it just seemed like the perfect like finish the story. Roman's been there. He's been one time off. We hear that every day.
Because right now Cody's getting sucked into into a feud with Judgement Day, along with to keep him. It's like, okay, now the Rock thing is over. Okay, here's the next feud to keep Cody busy for a little while, because we'll get to it. I think I know where this thing is going when we get to Raw, but
and then we had the tag team when EO jumped in on them. I think that's what because I always get my SmackDown.
There was that's right. Charlotte and Bianca teamed up against EO and Bailey. Dakota's at ringside. Nice that even though Dakota can't wrestle right now, it's nice that she's back on TV. At least being in like the corner woman to kind of do some shenanigans. So at least she gets to be back on TV. The babyfaces won. And amazingly, very interesting. Charlotte and Bianca got along. I think that's maybe part of the storyline. And then because Bianca got jumped by Damage Control and got the crap beat out of her. And of course, no one was there to help her.
Right.
So we'll see where that goes. And of course, more stuff with the Street Profits metamorphosis under Bobby Lashley's influence. Ready to see where that goes. I like the new outfits.
I like the finisher. Finisher's pretty cool. It's a weird inverted like 3D type thing. But they were like going online of like, what do I call this? And I was like, Cedric and Shelton. I don't know what else to call a finisher because I mean, just what they remind me of is Cedric. I'm hurt by the fact they pulled the plug on the Hurt Business so much. But because I really like that squad. And then it's interesting to see what they do with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley and everyone wants to book Bianca with them, and I think that'd be really cool. But it's like every group now is 3 dudes and a girl, 3 dudes and a girl, 3 dudes and a girl. It's like it kind of muddies the water at that point a little bit. So, but obviously it makes sense because Montez Ford and Bianca just needs to do a little something different than Super Bianca the whole time. But the thing is, my situation, I saw this online as well, and I agree with it, is people get are like aggravated because they do Super Bianca, but then they get mad because Rhea squashes everybody. I was like, well, there's two different things. It's because it just seems like, oh, how's Bianca going to get out of this one? And then she does something like, and it's just every match is booked that way. Whereas Rhea, they are being stupid about it, but at least Raquel seems admirable. I mean, I don't know, but I understand where that's a different. My squad has always been Super Bianca because it's just like it's kind of reminds you of what they did with Cena. It was just like, how's he gonna do this? And then he just pulls a rabbit out of his butt, and it's just how the match
like it's cool for a while, but it's like if you overuse it, then it becomes predictable and stale. It's like it's very obvious the fans still love Bianca, but it's like she's not like super over like she was like from 2021 from when she went first main evented Mania with Sasha Banks to this past year. It's like it started to cool off a little bit this year. It's like fans still like her, but it's like it's not as big as before, I think, at least from what I can tell. So very interesting to see. Maybe it is like if this is leading toward a heel turn, I'm very interested to see. I think it could work if they do it right. It's like,
I agree. I
agree, Griff. I think it's a heel turn would be something to help freshen her up a bit.
Yeah, she was a decent heel in NXT.
Oh yeah, so. She was quite it's like she was a good heel in NXT, and with a lot of the same characteristics she has now. It's just that it was like the whole EST thing was more arrogant. I'm better than you, kind of thing when she was a heel. So it's an easy way to shift that and have her turn against fans, especially with the way that they're gravitating toward EO. So
gotcha. All right. Well, anything else on SmackDown?
No, I think that covers everything on SmackDown.
Okay. And then Raw, we finally get the Shinske we've been wanting since he got into WWE.
Dude,
that freaking promo.
That promo was
so awesome.
That was one of the best. That's one of the best things I've seen Shinske done in the last couple of years. That promo was gold. I mean, the seriousness and him revealing what he said to Seth and explaining what it meant. And then I was like, oh, they're going there. Because for those who may not have been paying attention, the injury that Shinske and Seth are talking about on Raw, that's legit. That's not made up for this feud. That's for real. He is got some fractures in his vertebrae that he's been dealing with the last couple of years, and he's trying to work through it because if he does the surgery, he's going to be out for quite a long time.
Yeah, he's stone colding it basically with the hurt neck.
Yeah. So it's like the issue that Seth is dealing with that is part of this feud now. That's for real. So they're taking a real issue that Seth is dealing with. This issue with his back that he's been putting off surgery for. He should have had this taken care of like 2 or 3 years ago, from what I've heard. It's like so that adds a really cool element to this feud. That he's like, I loved how Shinske was like, this is a burden, and I'm going to take that burden off of you. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, that is such a good heel talk.
And he was just his cadence was perfect. Yep. On how he delivered everything and the way he was staring at the camera. I was just like, this is why we got excited, not just because it was in-ring work, but we knew he had this in him.
And he knew it was serious when they showed which is something they don't often do, remind people that his wife is Becky Lynch. They have a daughter, and they show clips. It's like, and he's talking about like every time you hug your lovely wife, you feel pain. Every time you lift up your daughter, you feel pain. So I was like, it's like, oh man. And then Seth's response, he wasn't in goofy Seth mode. Mm-mm. No, he was in like, oh, Okay, you want to go there? Okay, no, it's on now, pal.
Yeah, it's the Seth Riddle feud where there wasn't much laughter. It was just straight up just all right.
So even though the pay-per-view is next Saturday, they've already sold me on this match just from that Shinske's promo and then Seth's response. Fantastic. Yep. That's a great way to build to a match in a short amount of time. It's like that's how you do it. And that was fantastic. One of the best, probably my favorite thing of the night was that Shinske.
That definitely was. Other than they should have put Gable and Gunther on last. I know it was a count out and whatnot.
I know,
but they should have put them on last because we got the same match 2 weeks in a row as the.
How do you feel about this? Because it was a very interesting thing because it's like they want to keep building Gable. So they decided that okay, they had him beat Gunther in a way that he's not. It's like he defeated by count out. So he didn't pin or submit him and doesn't win the title, but he's technically has a victory over Gunther now to further the feud and piss Gunther off even more. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm not thrilled about the idea of Gunther taking a count out loss, but if this is building toward okay, if Chad is going to be the one to take the title from him after he breaks the record, because at this point it's very clear, because I mean they were talking about it. Like Cole specifically said, on Monday, he said that Gunther is 18 days away from breaking Honky Tonk Man's Intercontinental title reign record. So and so as of tonight, it's now down to 16 days. So in 16, if he is still a champion 16 days from tonight, he will break Honky Tonk Man's record. And he's definitely going to do it. And I'm excited for it. I think it's awesome. You know, it's like, it's amazing that length of a title reign record has lasted this long.
For a mid-card title.
And believe me, it's like Honky Tonk Man's run as Intercontinental Champion was incredible. It's like I watched that whole thing the whole time. I hated it that he took the title from Ricky Steamboat because I loved Steamboat. You know, I was on the high when he beat Macho Man at WrestleMania 3 for the title. You know, it's like I was pumped because I loved Steamboat. So I was pissed when he beat Steamboat for the title, and he just kept finding ways to hold on to it, like by hook or crook. Yeah, it's like that was a hell of a run. But I'm totally fine with that record finally going down because it's being done to further service and push one of the best wrestlers on the planet today. And
is that a thing? The honkometer?
I
know it's a thing. But yeah, I know I'm with you. I want the
so on Friday, September 8th, he will break the record.
Gotcha. Which, I mean, he will. I mean, like I told you, like I said last show, they don't sit there and say that like how many days it's been or anything like that. I mean, they have to talk about Rowan because he's had the title for 3 years. But the fact that Gunther has put prestige, it's the thing is like Austin Theory's had that U.S. title for a while, but the Cena bump didn't do anything.
The difference between his long U.S. title reign and what Gunther's doing right now is that Gunther has had incredible matches with multiple different people. Mm-hmm. He had a match of the year match with Sheamus at Clash of Castle last year. Mm-hmm. He's had banger matches with Ricochet, with McIntyre. He fought Sheamus and McIntyre at the same time in a triple threat at Mania, and it was awesome.
Yeah, could have been the match of the card.
He power bombed Otis.
Yeah,
he freaking power bombed Otis last week. It's like, dude.
But Vince McMahon didn't see anything in him. Whatever.
Yeah, it's like, and he doesn't. He has multiple different ways that he can finish someone off to win a match. And then you put him in there with someone as talented as Olympic wrestler talent like Chad Gable, and you're gonna have banger potential.
Yeah.
And it was heading there until it was a tease, because this is obviously meant to further the feud. It's like now Gunther's gonna be more pissed, and now he's gonna be determined to destroy Chad Gable.
Yeah, I think I don't like countouts. And Giff will get to this right after this, because that is a good.
Yeah, we'll get to theory.
But I didn't. For once, I didn't, because this reminded me of like 2000, like 2 years ago, when Vince was like just shenanigans after shenanigans. There was no like clean finish matches, anything like that. Like that. Yeah, I don't care for countouts, but the way it finished with him like flipping him over, it would be one thing if he just like kicked him and then he walked in and was like, and then they played the Looney Tunes music, kind of a finish. But at least when he literally suplexed him over the barricade and then ran into the ring, I was like, okay, I can at least go along with that if you're going to do a count out. And the fact that the crowd did pop, even if it was a count out, knowing that he didn't win the title, but at least at least makes it believable that Chad could do it. And I think it's enough to now, if they keep doing stuff like that and make it more of a storyline, that's going to be annoying. But this is for one time a count out. I didn't mind it because it didn't hurt either one of them, but it also made, and it's not just a one, like if he would have just beat Gable, and you don't just, and with him putting so much prestigious on, like, this is a pay-per-view match.
I agree. They didn't want Chad to take a pinfall loss to Gunther because that hurts any chance of him, the fans buying that he could be the one to finally take the title off of him. This adds to the possibility it's like that he could do it, and that's just gonna make Gunther even more mad, because it's like Gunther feels like he was humiliated. It's like, so the ring general is now going to be looking for blood now. And it also further added more dissension issues that he's got with his Imperium lackeys. So yeah, it's like, I'm not a fan of a count-out loss for a champion like that, but in this, this is building toward Chad getting to do the honors of taking the title off him after he's breaking the record, I'm all for it. Yeah. Still, they were put on a hell of a, I mean, like, dear God, Chad Gable able to friggin' deadlift Gunther into a German suplex. That man is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, just finally they're able to.
What those two are able to do, man. I mean, I cannot wait for like the proper rematch, because then they're gonna go all out, man. Mm-hmm. It's like it's gonna hit. It's gonna reach like 5-star level awesomeness.
Oh. Yeah, and I don't care what Meltzer says. The fact that Kurt Angle didn't have a 5-star match, it makes no sense to me.
Whatever. Whatever, Meltzer.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a get your thoughts on it. So he just cuts the same promo. That's the issue that I have with him. He cuts the same thing, and it's always the same. Like, I know I'm better than you, which is fine, but The Rock made I'm better than you awesome, and like there's certain, you can do it. And like what he did with the cell phone, that was annoying, but that's because he's a heel and that's supposed to annoy me. So I was cool with that. I just don't, if you put team him with Grayson Waller, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's something you could possibly do. He's not on life support. He just needs to not cut the same dang on promo.
He needs to change things up, how he talks a little bit. Because he's talented. He's talented in the ring. There's no question about that. It's his promo work, I think, is where I think he needs to change things up, because it's like, I think that's where he's kind of gotten stale. It's like he needs something again to make him distinct. Like, like back when Vince was like mentoring him and he was doing the selfie thing, which. It's like, that was a unique character thing, whether you loved it or hated it, it's like it was something. Not saying he needs to go back to doing that, but definitely needs something that makes him stand out again, because, especially for the Pack with what's going on these days. It's like, it feels like he definitely needs a refreshing. I think that's why they finally took the title off of him. it's some hey Ray, we're gonna have you. We're gonna add another title to your Hall of Fame resume, which doesn't need to be padded anymore. But hey,
yeah,
if this leads to someone else who deserves it, whether it's Santos or LA Knight or whoever, like that's a good thing. And Ray's awesome. He knows how to put people over. It's like, so I'm not worried about that. Definitely concerned about where Theory's going. We'll see what Triple H is going to do to kind of resuscitate him, because he definitely needs a little bit of he definitely needs a refreshing repackage here, because he's definitely gotten stale. He's not like horrible, but like him working with Pretty Deadly, I thought was a good thing, and unfortunately that got cut short because the injury to one half of the tag team. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. He definitely needs we'll see where this goes. So
yeah, I think that's is it Beautiful Deadly, Pretty Deadly? I forgot what's their
Pretty Deadly.
Pretty Deadly. Yeah, I'm just so used to them because they got called up, and then and who's the guy that's on the Brawling Brutes that unfortunately was the one that injured him?
I don't.
It was in that match, and he I don't know.
I can't remember if it was overcorrected or Bridge Holland. Maybe it was
Holland. It was Holland, because he's unfortunately someone, and I don't like pointing it out, but he's done this a couple. He was one that hurt Big E. He was the guy that was doing that, and I think there was another wrestler. And so I hope.
Yeah, it's like
I never like a wrestler losing their job because of those types.
Right.
Of things.
I hope he's not going to end up like a Nia Jax, where it's just they're not safe to work with.
Right.
I mean,
I never liked that. Now the reason, not on other reasons, they don't want her back. Just apparently she's just not a fun person to work with as it is, much less not safe in the ring. But it doesn't. Holland, we don't hear anything bad about him or anything like that, outside of the ring. So it'll be interested there. But yeah, I mean, I was interested to see, because Pretty Deadly they're really awesome. They're a good little.
They're great. Yeah, I look forward to when they're back.
Yeah, so because they're going to be great. I mean, the way they would finish matches and stuff like that were very unique, and they were very innovative on how they were able to outsmart the other their opponent, stuff like that. And then putting Theory with them, would at least give them a boost and help them out, understand that. And then I think that's what happened was, once he got hurt, they were like, what are we going to do now? And so they just haven't figured that out yet on there. So and then let's see here. And then Seth versus Gunther. I mean, you put Gunther or Seth together, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, it's time for Gunther. It's time for Gunther to be in the title picture, obviously.
I think it's very clear that once he no longer has the IC title, he's going to be kicked up into world title level, because they definitely teased that with I mean, look what he got to do at Royal Rumble. He broke the longevity record at the Royal Rumble this year. He didn't just break it, he shattered it.
Right.
It's and him and Cody had an incredible mini match that everyone's like, well, I can't wait to see Cody versus Gunther in a world title feud down the line, because they had a hell of a mini match to finish off the Rumble. And that was after Gunther had been in there over an hour. It's like if it's not more clear that Triple H has great plans for the Ring General after he's done with this record setting IC title reign. That's not only helped him, but helped the title as well. It's been a win-win. I could totally see him fighting Seth or Cody in a year from now over either of the big titles, depending on who's the champion. It's because I mean, I think it's at some point. I mean, it's obvious that Seth wants to help put this the world title, help establish it. At some point, he's got to take time off and take care of his back and get that surgery.
Yeah.
It's or else we don't want him to end up having to retire early or just get broken down like what happened with Kurt Angle. I mean, it's like
that, or what happened with Shawn Michaels and stuff like that. So you don't want to.
Well, it's like Shawn got lucky that it's like he was able to heal from that injury and was able to make an incredible comeback. His second run when he came back in 2004, it's like that was like a renaissance. It's like he had some of the best matches of his career when he came back. I mean, the stuff with the Undertaker alone. I mean, dear God, he had bangers at WrestleMania with Jericho and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Like it's like he was on another level. It's like very much like how Seth is right now, where it's like he could put on like great matches with anybody. It's like that run was incredible.
Yeah.
All right.
So go ahead.
The other stuff was Raquel finally got cleared. She did a little trickery, making Rhea think that she was still injured. It's like, ha, psych! I don't need the crutch anymore. I'm gonna kick your ass now. So they're set for title match at Payback. Thumbs up for that. Love Raquel. That should be a hell of a housewoman fight. Those two had some bangers in their NXT days, man. So
very good. I didn't know if they had any chemistry or anything because
they have chemistry. They're very good friends in real life. So they've probably looking forward to doing a proper feud on the main roster. So I'm glad it's coming. She's not obviously gonna beat Rhea. Rhea's gonna have the title for a while, but I think it's still gonna be a hell of a match because people can buy Raquel as a legit threat to Rhea because she can stand toe to toe with her for power. You know, it's like she's not someone that Rhea could just like toss her out like a rag doll, like she did with last couple weeks with like Candice and Indy Hartwell.
Yeah, but then she has like toe to toe matches in NXT. I don't understand that booking decision, but whatever. It's I just anytime Rhea's on TV, I'm watching. So
yeah. As we alluded to, Miz tried to make himself look good by having a match with Tozawa, a match that Miz would consider an easy win. But LA Knight arrived to pay the Miz back for screwing him over on SmackDown and paid him in kind and allowed Tozawa to beat the Miz, furthering that feud. I don't know if they're going to do it on Payback or maybe they're saving it for another pay-per-view. Who knows? We'll see. But they're definitely building something. Tommaso Ciampa is still looking for Johnny Wrestling. Johnny Gargano is still missing.
Didn't he say if you can't find him, you're going to do it yourself? Didn't he say something like that? I was like, he said the thing.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to when this goes because, like I said last week, I'm all for the DIY reunion. I love those guys. So looking to see. So that kid continues to build. Chelsea Green, Piper Niven. It's like Niven's all business, and Chelsea Green's just along for the ride. So I like the dynamic. I like how that's working. And of course,
exactly what I thought they were going to book it like. It's you got the heater, or like you got the.
So then of course the big thing going on outside of Seth Shinske, the other big feud that's going on in Raw right now is Judgment Day against the three of the top baby faces on the show: Cody, Seth, KO. KO finally came back from the broken ribs. Yay! Love KO to death. Glad that he's all healed up and is back in the ring. Smart thing to do it when they were in Quebec. It's like they're both Canadian Quebecers, so they got to speak a gratuitous French Canadian to and then, of course the fans are going to eat it up. And man, it's like you'd think Cody was from Canada too, because the fans were showering Cody with as much love as they were KO and Sami.
Love Cody. Also, just to kind of allude to it, is Dom like the third best wrestler as far as taking a stunner cell? That cell was awesome.
Oh, that's stunner cell was fantastic, man. I was impressed.
Yeah, it's like The Rock, Scott Hall, Dom, really?
It's very interesting where things are going because the issues between Finn and Damian are still there, and Rhea is playing an interesting role here, where she's kind of like, oh guys, we need to solve this out because she can see where this could go, and she doesn't want to see the group disintegrate. So she's like, get your shit together, and she definitely sees JD McDonough as an outsider. It's like, no, you're not part of our group. You know, it's like, stay out of this.
Right.
But he keeps sticking his nose in because he's helping out his bro Finn. So that adds a lot more intrigue. And of course, they're not going to of course, they had Cody, Sami, and KO beat him in the main event, because it's like they're not going to have KO and Sami lose in their backyard. You know,
no.
They're going to send the fans home happy. But which is a good thing, because that also will further dissension that's going on with Judgment Day. So, you know, where did JD come in? It's like, is Finn going to advocate that he join the group? At this point, I feel like this feud could go into a War Games match Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Where you have Finn, Damian, Dom, and JD against Cody, Sami, KO, and a fourth person that they would bring in to help them out. Because if JD fully aligns with Judgment, then they're going to be outnumbered again. Even though he's kind of been helping them, it's like they can still give Judgment Day a lot of problems, you know, because it's like, yeah, Rhea can cause shenanigans, but you can't get fully involved. You know, it's like, because they try to keep, you know, the men and female from throwing down with each other, you know, outside of like a mixed tag match. So I think that's maybe where it's going. Do you feel like this is heading toward like a War Games match?
I think cool. I mean, that'd be really cool if they can do it. I just don't know.
And besides, I think Cody would want to be in a War Games match because you know, his dad created that match. So
right.
And he's never been in one. He didn't get to be in a War Games match last year because he was out injured.
But no, I think I just when you said that, I was like, that could make sense. I'm just tired of them, like, you know, we got their stuff together. Like last week, they got their stuff together, and then they're back.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I was like, what are we doing?
Something's got to give. So there has to be a next step here. It's like it's felt like it's like this. It's like, get your shit together. Oh, I think we got it. No, we don't. It's like, something's got to give.
Crap or get off the pot, basically, with the JD McDonough type thing. Also, too, I someone pointed out, I didn't realize the running gag of Finn just not being able to get the briefcase to use it to win. It's always turned on him.
Yeah.
And like at first I was like, oh my gosh, you did it again, but now I'm just like, no, keep going with it. That's actually like a little subplot that I found hilarious.
And probably the only last thing, of course, is Becky Trish steel cage match is going to be on Payback, and hopefully this will be the feud. I thought Becky's promo work this week was good. Trish, I thought, was trying a little too hard. It felt a little off. I've seen better from her lately. It's like I didn't feel like it was like her. Like it's kind of like it was like that's not 100%. It's not terrible, but I don't know. So so it's like she's gonna face Zoe in a Falls Count Anywhere match next week on Raw before the pay-per-view. I'm just very interested where this go. I mean, obviously, hopefully the feud ends. So I'm wondering if Lita's finally gonna come back and help give Becky some backup for a change, because she's still. I
just don't know why we're still here.
Yeah, really. That's what I'm saying. Like, hopefully this steel cage match will be the end of the feud, and then Becky can move on to something better. So.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's giving up.
She's giving her all, though, man. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, she got a new shirt out of it that apparently is selling well. So,
right. And it's helping Zoe. I think that's the main thing. I think the real thing out of this is Zoe. I mean, because you're talking about two like legends already made. It's that they can do no wrong, really, and it's a cool feud that you've always wanted to see. But putting Zoe involved with it just to give her, like I said, the heater for the heel and Trish, but it really gives her more prominence because I think she already beat if I recall, my brain's just not working.
She beat Becky. Yeah, she beat Becky. She
already beat Becky before, so already kind of giving her the rub and showing her being formidable. So I think really the winner of this thing is Zoe. Her mic skills need a lot of work, but we'll get there.
Yeah, no, like I was like, I've been a fan of Zoe for her NXT work. She's great in the ring, man. It's like there's no doubt, you can see it. She's got skills. Yeah, it's like her pro work is good, not great, but she's getting there. I think definitely working. I was happy that I thought it was a really good idea for her to plug her into this feud as Trish's like lackey / apprentice. It definitely added a nice element to it, and it helps elevate her. Oops, got a little wobbly there. Okay, we're back. So yeah, I definitely agree that this has been good for her to give her some exposure and help build her up as in the women's division there. So it's like, it's like a mix at some point in the next year. Man, it's like definitely could get some good feuds. It's like her and Becky can feud again down the line, and then she can feud with a lot of other people. And it's like there's a lot of options here. It's like I'm just counting the days. I'm like okay, when is Becky versus Rhea gonna happen? Because I want it, and it's like I know the fans want it, so it's like hopefully it's only a matter of time.
Those two, it's gonna be awesome. I just feud the whole year. I don't care. Feud the whole year. Feud the whole year. Just do it. I don't care.
Especially where Rhea's gotten really good on the mic now. So like her back and forth with Becky is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's just I can't wait for that feud.
Yeah,
fight. That's one of those fight forever. Like it was like Shawn Michaels Undertaker. Like just keep going. I don't care.
Like Batista in his built to his final match with Triple H, that's turned into the classic give me what I want.
Right, exactly.
It's like Batista said, give me what I want.
Right. I need Rhea.
I want Becky Rhea feud, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else to touch on Raw there?
No, I think that covers everything on Raw.
Okay. And yeah, I agree. We had it on the card here. But yeah, I mean, we can kind of touch on it a little bit. Payback is looking pretty decent. As far as what we're going to get. So right now we've got at least Seth and Shinske, which, like you said, one promo sold. We're good. I mean, I'm totally ready for that match. And I was already ready anyway, because I think Seth is on top of this game.
Yeah. We got Rhea Raquel for the women's world title. That should be a good match. I hope Becky Trish in the steel cage will be good. It's like, we'll see. It's like, I think they can, if they do it right, they can pull it off. It just depends on, it's like, they got to do it right, because, it's like sometimes Trish has looked good, and other times she's kind of looked her age. It's like, so it's like, we'll see what happens. So, those are the only 3 matches that are locked in so far, but it's a good start. Shinske is definitely going to be a banger with the way that they built this. It's like, it's going to be a hell of a match.
Yeah, and I think as far as we might have our first premium live event. I'm still getting used to calling them that. But we're gonna have our first premium live event. I think with no bloodline stuff, the way it's going, or it's going to show up out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah, no, they're it's very obvious that they're saving Jay versus Jimmy for another pay-per-view. They're not they're taking their time with having them have a one-on-one. It's not happening at this. Yeah, it's like, it's going to be weird. There's not going to be no Roman, no bloodline or anything. It's going to be very just like, it's going to be the first like bloodline-free pay-per-view and like who knows how long. So it's going to be very interesting.
Very interesting. And also, did you see where Trinity Fatu, Jimmy's wife, there was a family photo and she like grayed out Jay and
I saw that.
And Solo. I was like, all right, that's pretty cool.
She even though she's not in WWE anymore, she's over in Impact. She's still helping out the family out. Keeping the kayfabe going.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
It was.
Okay. As far as, I guess we can wrap up now. And one day I'm going to watch NXT and I'm going to catch up and we can talk about it. But until then, I really don't have much.
Just quick, I thought NXT Heatwave was a solid show. There's some good matches. Definitely check out Carmelo Hayes versus Wesley title match. That was fantastic. I want a rematch again as soon as possible. Those guys are awesome. Further some feuds. Overall very solid. Looks like the Creed brothers are they who are big fans of. They're forcing the Schism into a rematch to try to be able to come back to NXT because they've been exiled from NXT storyline wise. Like, you know, it's like, so they're trying to work their way back in. So those guys are awesome, especially Julius Creed. He's the one to watch out for. That guy has got the talent to be able to be a hell of a single star. He is amazing to watch. It's like, keep an eye on the Creed brothers. Once they get called up, that's going to be an amazing addition to the tag division when they're called up from NXT. Those guys are great.
How long do you think are they going to basically still keep Braun and Carmelo there until after Mania? You think?
I think so. It feels like it's probably going to be not until beginning of next year that I think Braun. It feels like they're going to give Carmelo a really good run with the NXT title before he gets called up. So he might get, because Braun had the title for like about a year, which is a hell of a run. It's like one of the longest reigns, short of Cole and Finn Balor. I definitely see Braun probably going up. Not to just for sure. Melo maybe a little bit longer because they probably want to give him a good run with the title before he gets called up. But I can't wait for those two, man. It's like they're really going to be wonderful additions to Raw or SmackDown, whichever ones they end up on. Because like, man, it's like this heel turn for Braun Breaker has done wonders for him. It's like he's still over and he's a heel right now. It's like, I mean, they're doing the whoop, 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 like, you know, at him like his dad. It's like his moveset's getting down really fine. He's about ready for prime. He's about ready for the big time.
I agree. I'm waiting to see how because some, you know, of NXT right now, those are the ones that see highlights for and stuff like that. And I mean, and I've seen them for a while. I mean, they've been killing the game in NXT for
Carmelo's
quite some time.
Carmelo Hayes has got superstar written all over him, man. It's like his ring work, his promo work. He just reeks of it. It's like unless Triple H completely botches it, he's gonna be one hell of a star on the main roster.
You would think he would, but he's not 6'7" or whatever that Vince wants. So that's the only thing that's gonna.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. So hopefully, it's like, you know, it's like that's what I'm saying. Barring any kind of botchness or interference with Vince, you know, we'll see. It's like, not worried about Braun because Braun is the kind of guy that Vince would like anyway.
Other than being maybe a little bit taller, he's one of Vince's wet dreams as far as a wrestler.
Yeah.
So that's why they pushed him so quickly in NXT. But the thing is, that was okay because he's ever since they're like, because at first when that happened, that was like, of course I semi pay attention to it, but I mean, he just came on and he won the title. People were like, what? And then as he kept going, we're like, oh, he's fine. You can keep doing that. I don't have a problem with it. So yeah, no, cool things going on with NXT. It's like it's good. So let's go. All right, let's go over to the other company, AEW. So we got the build toward All In. They've setting records. This is looking to be one of the highest attended wrestling shows of all time. This card is very interesting. I figured maybe it's like, want to just run it down real quick and Phoenix is out.
Yeah. So got a lot of interesting matches on the show here. So just gonna go over a couple of them here. So we got on the pre-show, we got this is the only match for the pre-show that's been announced, is Aussie Open defending the ROH tag titles against MJF and Adam Cole. This definitely feels like part of the overall storyline because they're having the title match later. This reeks of something is going to happen here that is going to play a part in the title match at the end of the show. I don't see them winning the titles. I think them losing is pretty obvious. So So that's my safe bet to say like that. They're Aussie Open wins and something happens that's going to play into their title match later in the show.
Oh, I'm just having so much fun with those two. They're fun as hell.
No, this whole storyline with MJF and Adam Cole has been one of the best things they've done in a while. It's like we'll see if this is the end of it or maybe just the next chapter here at the pay per view. We shall see because we got another pay per view the following week. It's like 1 week later we got All Out in Chicago. So we already talked about earlier. Despite Cash Wheeler's legal issues, FTR versus the Young Bucks for the tag team AEW tag team titles is still on. Before the Cash Wheeler thing happened, I would have picked FTR in a heartbeat, but because of Cash Wheeler's situation with the arrest and assault charge that he's going to go through in court, it's very likely that the Young Bucks could win this match and take the titles off of at this point because of that. Feel the same?
Yeah, I think it's just I'm like I was kind of 50-50, maybe like 60-40 that FTR was going to retain, and now I'm like 70-30 that the Young Bucks are going to get.
Yeah, I'm more like 70-30 toward the Young Bucks now because of what happened with Cash. So, then we got the 4-way match for AEW Women's Title. Sheeta's got to defend against Toni Storm, Saraya, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I feel safe in saying that Sheeta's going to still walk out as a champion out of this match. Because despite what Toni Storm and Saraya are saying, at some point, Toni is going to try to win the title, and then Saraya is going to stop her because she wants to win the title. And so that's going to take them out of the picture. And then it's probably going to come down to Sheeta and Brett and their old frenemies. You had an interesting prediction. I know some other people had a similar thought. They're thinking that maybe we might see a Jamie Hayter appearance to screw Britt Baker over and allow Sheeta to walk out still as champion.
That's what I hope, but I don't know how far along she is in her recovery.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know where she is in her injury recovery. It's like I definitely say it's a possibility, but I'm like 50-50 on it, probably at most. It's like it's possible, but I won't be surprised if it doesn't happen. But I still think Sheeta is still retaining here. She just won the title. I think it would be a mistake to start hot potatoing the women's title. It's like that hurt Toni. Toni's unfortunately got her title reigns both got shafted, which I'm not a fan of.
And Sheeta works well with every person she's in the ring with.
Yes.
So whereas I can't really say that maybe Toni Storm, but I mean Britt's had some clunkers. Her chemistry's been off.
She's kind of regressed lately. It's like she's not as good in the ring as she used to be. I think she's regressed a little bit, and it's like it's kind of noticeable, at least to me. It's like I got a lot of problems. It's like I used to be high on her, but I got a lot of problems with the DMD right now. It's both inside and outside the ring with some of the things that she said and done. It's like I got issues with her.
yeah. But other than that, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe Sheeta can retain. I mean, because she's going to be a great fighting champion, and she's going to put on, as we just to kind of foreshadow.
She had a really good run before Britt beat her for the title. So it's like she was booked as a strong champion. So hopefully it'll stay that way. I think I think she'll get a good run. It'll be very interesting to see when because Thunder Rosa is working on getting cleared. She's trying to so she might be She might be back in the picture in the next few months. So we'll see. Hope so because
they've been screwing up.
I know. Yeah, it would be nice if they did give.
Ruby Soho's awesome. I love everything about that wrestler.
I think she should get a better chance.
Yeah. But I don't want to save it for the end of the show. Basically, I'm going to put it just to kind of foreshadow what just grinds his gears is going to be about.
All right. So next up, we got Darby Allin and Sting taking on Swerve Strickland and what's his face? Is it Christian Cage in the coffin? Is it Christian Cage team with him, or is it someone else? I can't remember. It's a coffin match.
I think so. I think it's Christian Cage or Brian Cage. I don't know. I don't know which one it's going to be.
No, it's AR Fox.
That's right. It's AR Fox. There's like 17 guys mixed in with one feud, so sometimes it gets a little confusing. Yeah. But no, it's going to be a fun match. And Swerve just came out, which is I think he's just playing with it, but he did come out and talk about how when he got released, he said WWE messed up, and now he's actually like really enjoying where he's at.
No. It feels like they're finally giving Swerve a potential. It's like hopefully he'll have. Honestly, I really wish that he had been the one to take the international title off Orange Cassidy. As much as like Orange Cassidy, I think it's long overdue that he dropped the title. It's like give someone a good rub. He's had an incredible run with the belt. It's kind of starting to get a little stale. To be honest,
I thought Swerve was going to be like the third time we faced him. I was like, oh, this is finally going to be it, and then he still lost.
But
come on.
This feud with Darby what they did with Nick Wayne, that was like I was like,
it is Christian that's going to be it.
Oh, it is Christian now.
Yeah, I guess whatever happened, and I haven't watched it yet, so
I must have changed it. Okay, I think Darby and Sting are winning this. I mean, it's like. I don't see them losing.
Who knows? I mean, it's AEW. Sometimes what you think is going to happen is totally opposite, despite what the story leads up to, kind of foreshadowing. So,
all right. So then we got a 6-man match. Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and Kota Ibushi against Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold of Juice Robinson and Switchblade Jay White.
Rock hard, Juice Robinson.
I don't know. This one could go either way. I'm not sure who's going to win this match.
They've been booking Bullet Club Gold other than obviously
really strong.
White. They've been booking them pretty strong, and with the Gun Club, they're just those melt. As soon as those two like joined up with Jay and Juice, I was like, that makes total sense.
I'll be honest. I haven't been a big fan of the Ass Boys. As thank you, Danhausen, because that name they will never shake that nickname.
No.
But I'm starting to like their heel work now that they're part of Bullet Club Gold with Juice and Jay White. I think that was a good move. It's definitely helping them. It's like they're definitely been building up Bullet Club Gold is legit.
Nope, lost you there for a second. But yeah, anyway, kind of going over until we get Justin back here.
All right, I'm back. All right.
Okay, cool.
I'm back.
We're gonna get there. So with that, but yeah, I really do like what they're doing with the yeah, you're good with the Ass Boys on that, and it's really helping them out. Other than they just have one of the coolest entrances, but that's about it as far as what they're doing with them. But they finally put them up with Bullet Club Gold, which is still weird. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. Like you said, it can go either way. I think the way they're building it, they probably will have Jay go over. Okay. Did we get you? All right.
Sorry. Did I get kicked or did you get kicked? I don't know.
I don't know what happened, but we got you now.
Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah.
Look at these. We're back. So what do you think? You think you lean toward Bullet Club and Takeshita winning this one?
Yeah, because the Elite don't need it.
Yeah, I agree.
So
all right, then we got
hoping for some other interferences to build another feud. Because,
that's what I'm thinking.
So
then we got Stadium Stampede match. Now this match was supposed to be a 6-on-6, but it was just word got out today that unfortunately Ray Fenix ran into some visa issues getting into the UK, so he will not be able to make the pay-per-view. And on Dynamite before we started the show, they basically wrote him out with an injury angle. They because he had a match with Moxley on Dynamite, and Moxley won the match, and then afterwards, rest of the Combat Club came out and they used crowbars and they like wrecked FedEx to injure him and send him to the hospital. So that was their way of writing him out of the pay-per-view. And then BBC introduced their two new friends to help them at Stadium Stampede, Santana and Ortiz.
They actually like each other again?
I don't know if they like each other. It's like, but they both returned tonight on Dynamite, and they are on Blackpool Combat Club's side, and they helped beat the hell out of the faces. Best Friends came out to help out Penta and Eddie, save them from the beatdown. So FedEx has been written out because of the visa problem, which is unfortunate. It sucks because he's awesome. Yeah. So it's going to be now, instead of a 6-on-6, it's going to be a 5-on-5. It's going to be Blackpool Combat Club with Santana Ortiz against Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, Penta, and Eddie Kingston in the Stadium Stampede match.
Did you see the when they were trying to hype up the Stadium Stampede version?
Yes.
And Eddie just comes out and was like, "Buy the game, don't buy the game. I don't care. Claudio, you're dead." I was like,
"Yeah." It's like he was like, "Claudio, you're dead. I'm gonna kill you." And then he's like, "Yeah, what?"
Oh, yeah. I love what he's like, "Buy the game,
on Eddie."
It was like
that was very funny, and that's very true to who Eddie Kingston is. It was great.
Sell the game while also selling the pay-per-view. That's how you do it right there. So that was awesome.
What do you think? I don't know. Is Eddie and company going to get one over on the Combat Club, Santana Ortiz, or are the heels going to walk out of this one?
Oh no, Wheeler Yuta is going to take the pin for the 1700th time, and we're just going to move on.
Probably. I can definitely see that.
I mean, I would like for
it's gonna be pure chaos
to go over, but Eddie Kingston needs to pin Claudio or something of that nature, or something of that, because I mean those guys are going to fight forever. So right, and that's kind of what we're like. Even though Moxley's in the match and it's Santana Ortiz and stuff, this is about Claudio and Eddie. I mean, that's just how they built it. It's Claudio,
and also about him and Moxley too, because it's
right.
Like, so
it's going to be more focused on, at the end of the day,
chaos. It's going to be blood.
It's going to be awesome. It's it's always fun when
it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Then we got one of the big marquee name matches. Don Callis has brought in Will Ospreay as a hitman to take out Chris Jericho and end his career. He made that clear on Dynamite earlier. They were doing a contract signing, and he made it clear that he got Will Ospreay to help him out by saying, like, you can end Chris Jericho, his career, everything at Wembley Stadium. So they're looking to they're not just looking to beat Jericho, they're looking to put him on the shelf permanently. At one point, I probably wouldn't make sense of this match. I mean, this is probably going to be a good match. Probably Ospreay's going to be doing a lot more of the lifting. I mean, like, Jericho can still go, but like Ospreay's amazing. So, the way they're saying it, I think Jericho's probably going to win this match because I don't think his career is going to be over just yet. So, I'm leaning toward Jericho winning this match. And for what I've heard, Fozzy is going to be there to do his entrance live, which that's going to be an experience for the Wembley fans. Just imagine what it's going to sound like when 80,000 people are going to be singing along with Judas.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I like I said before, I really don't care for this feud. I was hoping Jericho and Will and all of them would kind of group together, even though Jericho's going from faction to faction. But Will Ospreay in the ring, I'll take all day. Like, if you can sell me just on Will Ospreay versus insert wrestler, as long as it's not, Gilbert or something, I'm cool with it. But yeah, and that was kind of alluding to. Thanks for on the same brain. brainly basically is Sami's going to turn on Jericho, and then Sami and Jericho are going to feud. I mean, that's pretty much where I think the thing is going to go. So I'm agreeing with Gift that as far as how that outcome's going to go is that.
Yeah. All right, got 2 matches left. We got next is CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the real world title, because they're doing that old thing. It's like Punk's like, hey, I'm actually still AEW champion because no one ever beat me for it. They've reignited an old classic feud from early days of ROH between Punk and Joe. Honestly, this could be a lot of fun. I like the build so far. Joe's in full I'm going to destroy you monster mode, which I'm always cool with. Punk can still go in the ring. Should be a good match. I'm thinking Punk's going to win.
Yeah, Punk's going to win, and just hope that he doesn't get injured on some other body part. That's basically. Exactly. I need a good match. Punk doesn't get injured, and then we can move on, because they kind of when they had that trios match at the first Collision show, they were like, "Oh, Samoa Joe, let's see if this is still." And then as soon as those two faced off, they're like, "Yep, that's the match. That's the match we're all in. We got the reaction we wanted from the crowd, so we know we can still that it sells itself without and then Punk can still go on his tirades about crap that doesn't matter, that annoys me. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fun because they have so much history. If you go back and watch those, some of the best matches you'll see at ROH, the Samoa Joe, CM Punk matches. So if we can get even half of what that, because I mean, obviously they're a little bit older.
There apparently small spoilers for what happened on Dynamite, but apparently there is another match that's been added to the card as of tonight. There's going to be a trios title match. House of Black was causing more issues for the Acclaimed, but Billy Gunn came back. He is not done yet, and he made it clear that he's going for it one more time. Him and the Acclaimed are going to challenge House of Black for the trios titles at Wembley.
They better go over. Please go over.
I think with what they've done with this feud and what they've done with Billy, I think House of Black has had a really cool run with the trios titles, but I think the right call here would be letting the Acclaimed and Billy win the trios titles. Because I think it'd be good it'd be nice to see some gold back around Acclaimed's waist, and it'd be a nice part of Billy's swan song before he finally hangs it up, that he gets to have some gold around his waist one more time.
Do you think they're going to have Andrade be involved with this?
I don't know. That's a good thing. I don't know if that is that, because it's after he got his mask back, there hasn't been anything else going on between him and the House of Black. So I don't know.
I just don't know how much they're going to overbook it. Because they only have so many pay-per-views, I just don't know how much they're going to overbook it. So that's always just with that. I think it's just going to be clean. Whoever going to go over, and it's going to be clean. There's not going to be any stuff going on. Maybe obviously Julia Hart's going to be involved, but I don't see. I was just throwing it out there, but I don't think they're going to.
He also made it clear that they wouldn't be getting daddy ass. He's told House of Black they're going to be getting the badass Billy Gunn, as in DX level. Billy is like, so I'm like, hell yeah. So I'm rooting for. They should win, and I'm rooting for Acclaimed, and they give them something, because I think they taking the tag titles off. They took the titles off the Acclaimed too soon. They were red hot. They kind of cooled them for a little bit. Fans still love them. I think putting the trios titles on them and Billy Gunn, I think, would be a good thing and help them out.
And they put them on the Ass Boys, which they had, and there was nothing behind them. That was the only thing too.
And it was just a transition to FTR getting the titles again.
Yeah. So
which I was happy to see FTR win the titles. It's like, but it was just like, because it definitely felt like they didn't want FTR versus the Acclaimed, because they were afraid of that. It's like the fans would be torn, because the fans love both those teams very dearly, and so I don't think they wanted either one to be treated like the heel in that match. So they kind of avoided Acclaim versus FTR, and kind of like we'll maybe do that down the line. And no, it's like we can't have them face off in each other right now.
Yep.
And then finally, we got the world title match. MJF versus Adam Cole, baby. A lot of things, a lot of ways this could go. I'm trying to think of a scenario where
MJF's in. No, here's the problem. My thing is MJF is going to win, and then you'll hear the Cult of Personality hit. CM Punk's going to walk down in the ring. They're going to both hold up the John Cena CM Punk coming back with having both titles. They're both going to hold them up, and that's how we're going to end the show, or at least Punk coming out at some point after MJF has won.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, because it's like that's unfinished business with him and Punk. They got to settle that at some point about who's the real champ. So the question is are you even going to have a fallout or not?
I don't want them to.
I don't want them to either.
Because I'm just not ready for it to. It hasn't really run its course yet. It's just, but it's. I don't know. I was like wondering where they were going to go with it when they started off like this. You saw will they get along? And then they actually they have this weird like.
You know what I like? I would like if somehow it's like MJF loses. I mean MJF still wins, and it's like him and Cole don't turn on each other. Then you transition to MJF versus Punk to determine who is the real champion. And then when that's settled, then have the turn happen. And then they can have, and then they, because at some point I want to see Adam Cole with the AEW title around his waist.
I do too.
With the CM Punk thing, I don't see that happening because it's like you want to be because he's made it clear it's like Max, Max didn't, Max, you didn't beat me for the title, man. It's like so they have history. Right. Yeah, it's like
arguably one of the best feuds in wrestling history.
That feud was awesome, and Punk won that the last time they met the chain match. So MJF's due to win in a rematch. So then that'll settle that I know I am the champion. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I would not mind if it keeps going because it's like the fans love it. If they do it right, they can milk this out for a little bit longer before they have a falling out and have a real nasty feud for the title again.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. Overall, card is shaped up for it's going to be fine. I just hope that they don't have every match go 30 minutes like they did for the last pay-per-view, and I was kind of worn out at the end of it because it was like, what was it, Ospreay and Omega, which they could fight forever, but that match didn't go off until like 11:30 at night. Now, granted, being in our time zone, it really won't matter. But being in the UK, they're gonna be that crowd's gonna get a little tired if they if they give everyone 30 minutes. Yeah.
It's like I just double check it. That's what happened on Dynamite while we were doing the show. Was Giff is right. They wrote AR Fox out of the match and put Christian in his place to team with Swerve because it's part of the whole thing that's going on with Darby because Darby's challenging for the TNT title at All Out in Chicago because that's one of the few matches that's confirmed for that show along with Powerhouse Hobbs versus Miro, which will be Big Meaty Men Slapping Meat yummy match. Sorry. That'll be fun.
I'll go back and watch that Big E rant all the time.
That makes sense that they put Christian in this match because it's like it's the two people that he's got the most heat with right now.
Yeah, it's people, and you can sell Christian a lot better than AR Fox, even though it's still gonna be
I like that idea, Gift. That would not be a bad idea because like having pay-per-views, back-to-back pay-per-views 2 weeks in a row, that's really tricky stuff, man. But you're doing the smart thing by having different matches and feuds be on each show. So it's like that definitely helps. But that would, like how they do, 2-day Mania. That's not a bad idea.
No, and when you try and pack a card like that, because I mean, it just depends on if they can do it and they get the venue for 2 days. That's the problem. Whereas WrestleMania, you can sell 80,000 for one day. Can you sell 80,000 for 2 days and have like an okay card on one and an okay card on the other? Whereas WrestleMania is an experience that they built up to where WrestleMania sells itself, as we know what the Philly ticket sells. It doesn't matter who's on the first day, who's on the second day. People are going to go because it's WrestleMania. It's a lifetime event. Whereas some of these All In is not a lifetime event yet, and it's still kind of for AEW still at the mark territory. It's not the casual fans yet. I want it to be there. I just don't think they're at the level of selling out or they can just do a smaller venue for 2 days. They can probably do that for an All Out. But I mean, for All In, if you go for 80,000 in Wembley, what are you going to do next year? You can't just do the same. You can't go for a lower venue or anything like that. So I want it to be that. I just don't know if they have. I know they have the resources because the Khan family have unlimited money, but I just don't think you have the audience yet to do that.
Mm-hmm.
On those two things. All right. So anything else before we get to what's grinding your gears this week?
No, I think that covers all the major stuff here.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will turn it over to my tag team partner here to give him front stage and let you know what is grinding his gears in the wrestling world. So you have floor.
Okay, so today I want to talk about my frustrations for quite a while with AEW's Women's Division, and a lot of people have vocalized these problems, and it's still bugging me because it's they have a lot of talent in AEW in the Women's Division, but the booking has been like the serious problem. Britt Baker's title reign petered out at the end. It's like Thunder Rosa got the championship, which was great, but then she got injured, which sucks, and that changed the plan. And then when they give the title to Jamie Hayter, yeah, she's a champion, but it still felt like the division revolved around Britt Baker, and it's like the focus was still on her and not on the champion. And then Toni Storm has had 2 runs as champion, but both have been really short and lackluster, which is not cool. They've had a really hard, and there's been a really lack of like feuds outside of the 2 titles. Jade Cargill's title run, it was a good idea to start, but then it got so boring because it wasn't about that. She kept beating people well past the point of expiration date, and also she wasn't improving in the ring, which is another problem. So I'm glad that she's been off TV for a while. Hopefully, when she gets back, she'll be better. But there's signs that things are improving. I mean, she did being champion again, I think, is a good thing. She was a good champion before, and if she's booked well, that's a good thing. Chris Statlander has she's been a fighting champion with TBS Championship. It's like she's gotten in feuds. So right now she's in her and Willow Nightingale have been battling with Mercedes Martinez and Diamante. That's been pretty decent so far. So there's signs of life, but it's just like it's been very frustrating. It's like one of the weakest things at AEW has been the women's division when it should be one of its strongest. And just bad booking decisions and it's like an injuries and other things that really kind of mess things up. So I really hope they turn it around. There's definitely signs of improvement, but they still got a long way to go. So it's been one of my biggest complaints about AEW. So hopefully it will get better. So it's been it can be. So I'm hoping. That's all I gotta say in that.
All right, but yeah, I mean the book. I remember going to my first AEW show, and it was a Chris Statlander match, and the thing just drug, and the fans were getting frustrated. I mean, I remember one time, like one of the guys that was in front of me, you just hear just rumbles of like, and this one guy was like, "What are they doing?" And so it's just been an ongoing. I remember that was Kenny Omega's that was his thing when he first got there. I don't know, and then obviously as we've known, that Tony Khan is basically just running 100% of the booking, which now he's booking like 5 different, feels like 6 shows.
Yeah.
On that. That's got to be a lot for him. I think that's where the split between him and Cody kind of happened. Is Tony wanted the full booking and Tony wanted the full booking and Cody didn't like that. And I mean, so I think, but we'll never know until they'll probably say it at some point, a decade from now, or who knows if it'll ever come out exactly what the other reason was Cody left. Other than just wanting to win the WWE Championship.
Yeah, because he made it clear he's not going to talk. He made it clear in the documentary that he's not going to give the specifics why he left. Just that it was a personal issue. He didn't have a problem with the Elite or anybody. He's still friends with the Young Bucks. I mean, the Bucks allowed the being the Elite footage to be used in the WWE documentary. That says it all about their friendship with Cody. It's like, so, yeah, I totally agree. So. Yeah, it's like there's been times where it's like I've ranted to a lot of people, including you, about the AEW women's division problem, and I'm just hoping that they're going to start getting it turned around here in the near future.
Yeah, and also it's just the talent's not there compared to what you see at WWE. I mean, it's just
yeah. I mean, it's like especially with the talent they've got in NXT coming up the pipe. Dear God, it's like WWE is going to be loaded with talent in the women's division for years to come. I mean, like Tiffany Stratton. It's like I'm talking about Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne Perez. There's some really good women's talent in NXT right now that you're going to be seeing on the main roster next year or two.
Yeah, because I mean, like you look at Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne Perez, and then you look at Sky Blue. There is a stark difference between the talent there, and Sky Blue is being booked as like a threat to the TNT Championship, and I'm like. That's what they had to work with.
And one other thing, the thing that bugged me was like the setup for the 4-way match. It's like they had like, there's gonna be qualifying matches. We got Britt Baker versus the Bunny and Sky Blue versus Rhea, and I'm like, gee, Tony, this is Wembley Stadium, one of the biggest cards you've had ever. Where's Saraya from? Oh, gee, she's that's her backyard. You think? Yeah, of course she's gonna be on the pay-per-view. Same with. DMD because she's got Tony's ear and one of his favorites. So why have the matches? Just announce them being in the thing. The match is a waste of time because it's like nobody thought that like Sky Blue or the Bunny had any pardon my French, any fucking chance of winning those matches. I mean, come on, seriously. That it was a waste of time. It's very obvious who was going to be in the match besides Sheeta and Storm. It's like, come on. It's like that was a waste of time. That was very stupid. Just announce that they're, it's like just announce who's in the match and be done with it and build it from there instead of wasting with matches.
Oh, lost you again. But yeah, I mean,
that's part
of. Got your back. All right. Well. Yeah. So that I think that's what we got for a show, right a little above the 2-hour mark, but that's pretty much what we like to hit. Yep. Obviously thanks for GIF and other people that have joined us.
Appreciate it.
Obviously comment on the video if you're watching it later to let us know what else, hit the like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And then hope, and the fun part about the wrestling world, the wheels keep turning. So we have more new stuff to talk about next week. On that, we'll be able to talk about All In, so it might be a longer show, probably because there's a lot more things to get through there. But if anything, thanks for all for joining us. Justin's always a pleasure, sir, and we will check you all next week on Wednesday to talk about it'll probably a lot more centric on AEW based on the All In because it's kind of like the Wrestlemania. So have a good one.